And welcome to RTF Sports Talk. I am Michael Buckeister, the host of today's show, joined with Billy Hatton from Unpopular Opinion. Billy, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right. Pretty good day, man. Talk sports. A lot of stuff has been happening as of late.
A lot of stuff happening, and the snow is coming here in Louisville, so I'm pretty excited about that since you're a weather buff over there, down there in El Paso when it's always cold.
Yeah, it's about 50 degrees this morning, so we're in a good spot right now.
Yeah, it's like 17 degrees here. It's stupid cold. But as you alluded here, Billy, there is some big news happening. Kyler Murray is as the reports start to surface out here, he is going to put his name into the NFL draft. I believe the deadline to put your name in the draft is this Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. He is signed by the Oakland A's. He believes he signed a $5 million signing bonus to play for the Oakland A's next year. If he does enter in the NFL draft, he will have to pay back that signing bonus to the A's. So, Billy, do you think Kyler Murray would be a possible first-round pick? And if so, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, according to all the experts, the guys that know this, the guys that's talking to NFL GMs, these guys said that he's possibly a second-round pick, which is the reason why when we did the show yesterday, I said his better route would probably be going baseball. You know, he's more likely guaranteed, being the ninth pick in the draft last year. You normally don't pick people that high if you don't think that they have a potential to go. Now, there's always guys that slip up. There's always busts. But normally when you go that high in the MLB draft, normally these guys are already locked to play to start off in the AAA. And within a year or so, they already, depending on which team and their need, they get called up. So that's why I said yesterday his best bet will be going to play baseball. He is less criticism over in that sport than what it is in the NFL. So many people watch it. And, I don't know if Kyler Murray really cares about being in the spotlight, but I can understand his reasoning for going to play baseball. As I alluded to yesterday, there's nothing like running out of a tunnel. There's nothing like putting on helmet and shoulder pads. There's nothing like going out there with your guys every single week, playing football in front of millions of people. So I definitely get it. But do I think he's going to be a first-round pick? No, I think he's going to slide to that second round because he's a shorter quarterback, and there's already a lot of questions about Kyler Murray, the football player, anyway. So for me, yeah, I don't think he's going to be a first-round pick. He could slide into that first-round pick with a few guys needing some quarterbacks. But next year is going to be the big quarterback draft. When you have Fromm coming out, when you have Tua coming out, when you have Justin Herbert coming out, that I think a lot of teams are waiting for that draft class. Jalen Hurts could probably be coming out next year too, with him entering his name into the transfer portal yesterday. Now, I don't think Jalen Hurts is that good of a quarterback, but he has the numbers, he has the wins, and I think he's a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. So if Lamar Jackson go in the first round, I think Jalen Hurts can too. So, yeah, if he goes out, maybe he's a borderline first round pick if somebody want to reach to go get him. But from all the experts talk, he's a second round pick.
And I definitely hear everything you're saying. And on yesterday's show, I kind of alluded to, well, why doesn't he just go back to Oklahoma and play his senior year? Well, the reason is because he can't. The Oakland A's in their contract said, hey, we will let you play 1 year of like football, but we want you in an Oakland A's uniform next spring. So for those of you out there, like the opinion that I first initially had, well, why don't you just go back your senior year, prove yourself? Well, he can't. So that is why I think he is going to enter his name in the NFL draft this season, just to see if he gets up there in the first round. Possibly. We are going to allude to this in our next topic that we're going to talk about. But there are a few coaches, a few GMMs, and a few teams that could really kind of waste a first round draft pick on him because they have a lot to offer, and it's a right situation for him. So really there is no loss for him to enter in the NFL draft. And if he gets sent to a crappy team and he drops down to second, third, fourth round pick, he can still go play baseball if he chooses. If you guys remember way back in the day, John Elway, I think it was the Colts. They said, John, we're going to make you the number one overall pick, and like John said, no, you're not. If you guys pick me, I'm going to go play baseball. And Kyler Murray can kind of do the same thing because he has that power. He has already signed with the Oakland A's. He has not a guaranteed contract, but he has that $5 million signing bonus with the extra $4 million for like incentives and that kind of thing. So it is a win-win situation for him. If he enters in the NFL draft, awesome. He gets drafted in the first round, ends up in a great situation. Signs a lot of cash. He can put it in his contract like, hey, for me to play for you guys need to pay back the Oakland A's the $5 million that I owe him. I'm sure if they really want him to play, they can figure that out. So Kyler Murray is definitely going to enter in the draft. It's a win-win situation. He may not end up in the first round, but high second round, possibly late first round. I mean, it's a win-win for him, Billy. I
mean, yeah, if he was gonna go to the draft, this would be the year to go. I said it yesterday. There's not many quarterbacks that's coming out this year since Justin Herbert decided to go back to Oregon. That made Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins almost had to declare once he seen Justin Herbert going back, which was probably the clear-cut number one quarterback favorite. Dwayne Haskins had no choice but to come out. So Dwayne Haskins really is the headliner of this class. He's going to be the first quarterback taken. I don't see anybody else going over him. Now, Kyler Murray could slide up in that slot over, the Jones kid from Duke and Missouri, the guy from Missouri. He could potentially slide up in front of those guys. But I just think a lot of these DMs, they caution about taking these short guys. It's been the NFL thing that you have to be tall, you have to be able to see off the line, you have to be 6'5", you have to be 6'4", and 6'3" is probably the limit before you just have to be amazing. And a lot of guys are not sold on Kyler Murray because if they were, he would already be a lock to be a first round pick. Since it's still up in the air. Yeah, now entering his name in the draft means nothing. He could just enter his name in the draft, even if he get picked. It all depends on what he do because the A's, they start training camp February 15th in Arizona. So is he going to be there or is he going to be at the combine? That's really what we need to be waiting for. If he participates in the combine, then we already know he's chosen his path and he's going to play football. But I'm telling you, his best route is to go play baseball. I'm telling you right now, especially if he's not a first round pick, he's not going to get the leniency as a lot of these other guys are. That's first round that these teams took a chance on, and he's going to be a Geno Smith, a guy that probably could have won in the first round that fell to the second round. Now nobody knows who he is because second-round picks don't get the same leniency as a first-round pick. It's only going to take a few bad games as a second-round pick if he gets picked in second round for him to be sat on the bench and now for him to be shuffled around the league and nobody knows where he at when he probably could have been playing in the majors because a lot of scouts are saying that he's good enough to do that. I don't know. I think it's a dicey situation. If it was me, I would play baseball. But since it's not me and I'm giving the advice, go play baseball instead of going to play football.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you kind of got to take the guaranteed cash. But since we are talking about football here, and it is it's a very, very hot topic. It's that time of season, postseason. If Kyler Murray were to go into the NFL draft, what team do you think he would be a best fit on, and where do you think he would land?
Oh man, that'd be tough. I think he would have to go to a team that already focused primarily on the running game. Now although he can sling it, I know he can sling it, but it's kind of shorter than most of these other guys that's coming out. I know they say he's about 5'7", and people call Baker Mayfield short at 6'1". So we're talking about a significant height difference. So getting him in an offense that could move the pocket a little bit, kind of like how Mariota do down there in Tennessee. But I don't think Mariota is going anywhere. Going to a team maybe like the Redskins that kind of got a lot of short, fast receivers.
Powerful game in the backfield.
Yeah, exactly. Depending on if Adrian Peterson come back, he was a 1,000-yard rusher last year. Didn't seem to slow down at all. Maybe going to a team like everybody else really have quarterbacks. The whole NFC South, they all got quarterbacks. The NFC West, they all got quarterbacks. The NFC North, they all got quarterbacks outside of Detroit. And would you really want to send him to Detroit? I don't think that's likely. Maybe you draft him in Minnesota. You don't know what Kirk Cousins is going to do. His contract, he only has 2 years left on his deal.
Right.
And I don't see them keep paying him to not make the playoffs. So maybe Minnesota that have Dalvin Cook and Latavius Murray. They got short, fast receivers, Diggs and Thielen. They got Rudolph the tight end. Maybe that'll be a good situation for him. Maybe that'll probably be the best situation for him in Minnesota, where even if he does come in, you still have two backs that can kind of carry the load a little bit. And he, like I say, he's a good passer. This guy threw 40 touchdowns this year. He's
over
no scrub throwing
yards.
Yeah, over 4,000 yards. So it's not as if he can't throw the football, but just making things a little bit easier. With the play call and moving him in and out of pocket. You see it with Drew Brees a lot. The stuff Sean Payton do to get him kind of out of the way of that big offensive line so he can have passing lanes to throw the football. So, I think Minnesota probably be one of the best spots for him.
So I've been reading articles and stuff ever since that Cliff Kingsbury hiring down in Arizona, and he is kind of making himself to be some type of quarterback genius type of thing. And he is saying that he is in love with Kyler, and he wants to basically bring him to Arizona, ship out Drew, and basically start over. And thinking about it, hindsight, I think that is a very, very dumb choice. But you have a hot young quarterback, you have a hot young coach. It would kind of be a match made in heaven, like almost, because the head coach is only 6'1". He has been the short guy, and he did okay at Texas Tech. So I think he knows what Kyler Murray needs to do to be successful in the NFL or successful in the offense, period. And thinking about it over and over and over, I think Arizona could definitely trade their quarterback from this last year. Maybe get a late first round, early second round pick, and that'd be a great landing spot for him. But does Kyler Murray want the pressure of coming into Arizona and being a guy like that? That's the biggest question at the end of the day. And some other possible good landing spots for him. Why not the Las Vegas, London, Mexico City, Oakland Raiders? John, their head coach hosted that quarterback camp every year. He knows how to get the best out of the quarterbacks, so we see on TV. And he is a great offensive mind, great coaching mind. So why not bring him in? Use one of those first top 4 round picks that he has. Sit him behind Carr for 6, 7, 8 games. Ship Derek Carr off mid-season. Bring Kyler Murray, and you look like a genius at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, I think maybe the Raiders' point is a little bit better. I don't like him going to Arizona, and I get it. Cliff Kingsbury. He has coached some pretty high-profile quarterbacks in his tenure, but it's a different beast in the NFL, and not necessarily him. It's just the team that he has. Who would Kyler Murray be throwing the ball to? So that'll be one more year. Even if Larry Fitzgerald decides to play again this year, I don't see them going away from Drew Rosen in 2 seasons. This guy was a rookie quarterback this upcoming season that did not even play the full season. Sam Bradford started out as the starting quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals last year. So this guy, like Baker, didn't even get a full season as the starter. So I don't see them in his first really with one full season as a starter, no matter how much Cliff Kingsbury liked Kyler Murray. One full season as a starter, when you wasted a first-round pick on Josh Rosen at number 12 or 13 last year, wherever they picked.
It was mid first round, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. Kyler Murray being a quarterback in Arizona. You're going to have a situation like Mike Shanahan had in Washington back in 2015, where he drafted RG3 in the first round, and then in the 4th or 5th round, he went and got Kirk Cousins. Now you got a quarterback controversy. You're asking every single week, hey, is Kyler going to start now? When Drew Rosen has the bad game, is Kyler going to start? When is Kyler going to go? When are we going to do that? I don't think for a new head coach that's beneficial to have to answer questions every single week about which quarterback he's going to go with. Josh Rosen is going to be the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals at least for the next 3 to 4 years before they see where they want to go. Kyler Murray is going to have to see fit somewhere else on another roster. I don't see that happening in Arizona at all.
Well, that's very good insights from Mr. Billy Hatton himself, Grand Hefe. Speaking of head coaching, Kitchens was named the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Your Cleveland Browns. What are your thoughts on that hire?
Well, I was on air yesterday doing Unpopular Opinion. We had an interview with Matthew Lau, who's not here today. And it came to my phone, and it stopped me mid sentence. And yesterday, I really didn't offer any insight on it. I said a little thing about it, but I really didn't say anything about it. But as I had time to process things, I've talked to other Browns fans. I've seen every day on Twitter, the Cleveland Browns go live at about 10:30, 11 o'clock Mountain Time, and I watched the radio show, and hearing those guys talk about Kitchens, the way they did it, guys that's in that building, I guess it makes me feel a little bit more secure. And it's not that I didn't like I didn't like the coaching hire, but I didn't like the coaching hire. I wanted Freddie Kitchens to remain on the staff for sure. I wanted him to be my offensive coordinator. I didn't want him being the head coach because now I got this thing that he's probably going to want to call plays as well. Now, they said most of the offensive staff is going to be intact, but we don't have an offensive coordinator because he was the offensive coordinator.
Right.
I wanted us to hire a defensive-minded head coach. That way we can get the defense on point, leave Freddie Kitchens as the offensive coordinator, because that way I knew the offense wouldn't be untouched. I mean, it would be left untouched. And I think we would have been able to get the right defensive coordinator in there. I just don't know how this guy is going to put together his staff. We see these staffs with good offensive-minded guys. Their defense normally suffer. Andy Reid, he got one of the worst defense in the league. The Rams, with all that star-studded talent they got on there, outside of Aaron Donald wrecking stuff of the middle, that defense is a pretty bad group. Even to the Eagles, that defense is not good. They stood up when they needed to, but that's not really a good defense. The only one that defies that is the Bears with Matt Nagy, but now they just lost they D coordinator. So where's that defense going to go? I just wanted a guy in there that kind of knew, a veteran defensive guy that know what he wanted on defense, and to leave Kitchens alone. But I am excited about Kitchens. I seen what he did. I seen what happened to that offense when he was inserted as the offensive coordinator. I've seen how Baker responded to him. Jarvis Landry came out and said he listened to us. Even in the middle of the game, he listened to us. You know, he likes to take our input. He comes to our rooms and he asks us, what do we want to do? So that's what you want, a guy that's willing to listen, because those are normally the best coaches, guys that's willing to listen. So I'm happy for Kitchens. I'm happy for the direction of the Browns. Let's go Browns.
So just give me a quick answer here. Who would you have rather seen the head coach of the Cleveland Browns then?
I don't have a specific name, but I wouldn't have mind if Greg Williams had stayed the head coach. I mean, he was the acting head coach during that tenure, you know, but I think Freddie Kitchens is the only one that got any love. I just know that they couldn't risk losing both Kitchens and Wiggins, which is the reason why they restricted Kitchens from even talking to other teams.
Right. So you were alluding to the defensive side of the ball earlier. Vic, the defensive coordinator from the Bears, is now the head coach of the Denver Broncos. What are your thoughts on that hire?
Again, I don't really know what he's about. Obviously, I know that he could put together a good defense. He obviously did that in Chicago with the help of a Khalil Mack. But that defense was already good. You know, that was the strong suit of their team. Khalil Mack just kind of helped everybody else out and, you know, put everybody else over the edge, which is to be expected for a guy like that. But the Broncos maybe are feeling, John Elway is probably feeling, well, when we won the championship a few years ago, and when we went to the championship that year prior, when we lost to the Seahawks, the defense was our calling card. We played tough defense. We was able to rush the passer. We had good linebackers that can run sideline to sideline, and we had some good DBs to cover. And then we were okay on offense, because at that time, Peyton really wasn't Peyton anymore.
Right.
So maybe that's what he's going back for, a defensive-minded coach, which is what I wanted, so he can go get him a good defensive coordinator and put a good defensive scheme over there. And he's going to hire somebody that knows about the offense and let that guy do what he do. So I like the hire for the Broncos. I like the direction, because everybody's starting to adopt that trend. Like, we're going to play solid defense and we're going to be okay on offense.
Well, you have to have a solid defense to compete in that, like in that tough conference that they are in, you know, like with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chargers, and so if you want to have if you even want to have a chance, you need to hold the Chiefs and Chargers to under 20 points, and that's going to be very, very difficult. The final hire that has happened in the last 24 to 36 hours. Adam Gase to the Jets. He is the second person to serve as a Dolphins coach and now a Jets coach. What are your thoughts on that?
This hire right here, I don't like at all, Mike. I'm going to be honest with you, Mike. Out of all the hires that we've seen, even the Matt LaFleur hire to the Packers, you know, there's reports out that Matt LaFleur said Aaron Rodgers called him before he took that job. So I guess there's already a mutual respect there between the two. But Adam Gase, I do not understand this hire. Maybe they think since he's an offensive guy, he can get Sam Darnold in line. But I don't get it. Why would you leave? Why would you leave the Jets? I mean the Miami Dolphins. You've almost got away from Tom Brady and Bill Belichick just to go back
right
in the same division on a worse football team. Why would you want to do that to yourself? And Adam Gase is not a good coach. Or maybe he just needed a new spot. But this guy's not a good coach, and I don't like this hire. I don't, Mike. I'm be honest. I don't like that hire.
So, I am a facts and stats type of guy here. The last 7 coaches for the Jets, I'm going to throw out some names here. You had Todd, Rex Ryan, Eric Mangini, Herm Edwards, and Bill Parcells. Every one of those coaches, their first year at the Jets, at least 9 wins. 9-7 and 10-6 is the best. So with the trend of history, Adam Gase is going to have a 9-win Jet season. So we'll just leave that where it's at here.
He better hope for his sake. Todd Bowles only got 2 years over there. 3 years maybe.
Yeah, 2. Wasn't it 2?
He's not going to have long. I'll tell you that. Especially not with Sam Darnold now. They're expecting him to win. They're expecting him to be the quarterback guru. And they better win.
All righty, Billy. So we are going to try to shift gears a little bit here. Normally we do this on Tuesday, but it is Thursday here. We're going to do a little over under reaction NFL style, since it is still NFL season and there's 8 teams left, including the Cowboys and the Kansas City Chiefs. Just to throw it out there for you guys that don't remember. But overreaction, underreaction number 1, Billy Hatton. Texans coach Bill O'Brien is still on the hot seat, even though he made it to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think he's still on the hot seat. I think he's kind of underperformed since he's been there. Yeah, he made it to another playoff game, but the expectation is to win. I think he's going down this Marvin Lewis train. So yeah, I think he's still in the hot seat.
Who do you think would be a good fit for the Texans?
Out of all the coaches that's out there, I would probably say Mike McCarthy, because I don't think Deshaun Watson's skills is flashy. I just think he just beats you because of his talent and his willingness. So I think Mike McCarthy's play calling kind of helped that, and he knows how to get his stars the ball. I think he'll feature Deshaun Watson. DeAndre Hopkins a lot. So yeah, I like Mike McCarthy there.
I am going to say it is not an overreaction. He is still definitely on the hot seat, and you have the Chiefs' offensive coordinator out there that still doesn't have a head coaching job. Still a very hot sought after coach, and I believe that's really what the Texans want is they want to use like Hopkins and their quarterback to be a high-flying offense while that defense is still in their prime,
And imagine if, Demaryius Thomas could come back healthy. Right. Imagine what that could do for him. And Will Fuller.
Yeah. You are looking at the Kansas City offense with a great defense. So that's why I think he will be on his way out that's a good point. If they can get the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator. Moving on here, the Seattle Seahawks, they did lose to the Dallas Cowboys last week. Over under reaction, Brian Schottenheimer's run heavy offense cost Seattle their season. That's not an overreaction. I was saying that during the game. I kept yelling at the TV, "Why are you still running the football, Brian Schottenheimer?" I literally kept yelling that. Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you not running with Russell Wilson a little bit more? He only had 3 carries in that game, and that was down the stretch in the fourth quarter when they almost literally had no other choice. Yeah, so I think that they should have been airing the ball out a little bit more and letting Russell Wilson run. But I kept saying it. Why? And you're only getting 2 yards, and punt. I didn't understand that. Yeah, and that is the strength of the Cowboys is their front 7. They have a great linebacking crew. They have a darn good front 4. Their secondary is horrible. When you have a speedster,
what are you paying Russell Wilson for?
Yeah, exactly. And you had that speedster of Tyler Lockett. He was running past the cornerback and the safety every time. There should be no reason why you were not giving him the ball. So that is not a underreaction, and I would not be surprised if he is on the hot seat as well. Moving on here, John Harbaugh should have replaced Lamar Jackson with Joe Flacco in the second half. Over underreaction.
I'm torn on this one, Mike, because as a fan or as a just person that watched the game and analyze it, yeah, I think you should have went to Joe Flacco. Maybe your team needed a spark, and Joe Flacco was probably that spark because at the time you needed somebody to throw the ball. Lamar Jackson only had 40 yards up into the fourth quarter until they were down by like 20 points, and then he started throwing the ball.
Yep.
So But I understand it from a John Harbaugh's perspective, which is my job is on the line. This is the guy that got us here. And going forward, we already know, Joe Flacco already know, Lamar already know, Ozzie Newsome already know, Joe Flacco is not going to be back with us next year. We need to stick with Lamar Jackson, because he's going to be our quarterback, and we can't just keep flip-flopping. We have to keep him in there because he's our future. We put all of our eggs in this one basket, so we have to stick with. So I get it from a John Harbaugh perspective, but of course, no doubt, 40 passing yards from a quarterback all game for 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters basically. Yeah, I mean, that should have been an easy decision, but I understand it.
Yeah, and this is a over reaction on like my side of the fence too. You can tell that the team supported Lamar Jackson like the whole season. Flacco was 4-5 in the season, and then Jackson obviously went to 6-1, winning like the 4 of his last 5 or something to that.
6 of the last 7.
Yeah, and the only loss coming to the Kansas City Chiefs. So, in hindsight, because John Harbaugh, he is already in the hot seat. Earlier this season, we heard that this is his last year. They were going to mutually part ways, and then all of a sudden they started to like win, and they're saying, "Hey, we're bringing John Harbaugh back. We're talking."
I didn't get that either.
like extension. So I really don't know what is going on the front office side, but obviously John Harbaugh would have he would have squashed that rumor if he did not want to be there. So
yeah,
by sticking with Lamar Jackson, he was playing ball per se. He was saying, I want to be here. Lamar Jackson clearly is our future, even though he's not going to be very great, from my opinion. And I believe it was a post-game interview. He said, Joe Flacco is a great quarterback. He will be good for like any team, and I root nothing but the best for him, except for when he plays us. So that tells you Joe Flacco is gone. You could tell by
Joe Flacco already knew he was out the door. They had already talked about it, which is the reason why Joe Flacco was so calm sitting on the bench, because Joe Flacco's stock just went up, and it went up because, well, he got hurt. He came back when he was healthy. He lost his job, and then he continued to sit on the bench. So Joe Flacco, and he's still a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Right.
So there's going to be some teams out in the market for him. I think I said this the other day about another quarterback, that if he goes to Jacksonville, with that defense, yep, everybody is still intact down there. They didn't lose anybody off that defense. Nope. Now they're going to lose Fournette, but I think they can get another running back.
Running backs are a dime a dozen.
Yeah, that team could be dangerous. Get Joe Flacco one more receiver, because I don't think Dede Westbrook and Allen. Who's the other guy they got over there?
I can't even think right now.
I'm drawing a blank right now.
Yeah,
but if they could get him one receiver, or maybe a good tight end, because Joe Flacco likes throwing a tight end, I think that Jacksonville team could be right back to what we were talking about 2 years ago, or after last season when they were in the AFC Championship game against New England.
Yeah, they were basically a quarterback away going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
More or less. So a couple more overreactions here, Billy, or underreactions. The Bears cannot win a Super Bowl with Mitchell Trubisky. Underreaction.
I think it's an underreaction. I tell my co-host that all the time. I tell him there's no way that you guys are going to be able to win a Super Bowl with Mitchell Trubisky. Yeah, he's going to be good, and he's not sorry. He's just not a Super Bowl quarterback. And I don't know if the Bears defense can repeat what they did this year. I just said it. They did lose their defensive coordinator. The guy who put that scheme together and put these guys in this position. There's still going to be a good defense, but we see with defenses, they fall off, man. The Seahawks defense was only like that for a few years.
Yep.
Before you got to start paying guys, and guys start getting egos. It happened with Jacksonville defense. All it takes is a quarterback to deter you from really caring on defense, and this could be a bad defense.
Yeah, and we saw that with Jacksonville too. That they were basically a bad quarterback away from going to the Super Bowl, and they fell off this season.
Minnesota,
yeah, exactly.
Minnesota defense was the number 1 defense in the league last year. Look where they were at this year. Yeah. It's tough to do that in and out with these new rules, man, for the offense.
So, with all that being said, I'm going to say it is not a overreaction. Mitchell Trubisky is a game manager, just like Alex Smith was for the Kansas City Chiefs for so many years. That is why the Chiefs haven't won a playoff game in so long. Is because he does great in the regular season. He will not win you a game, but he won't lose you a game either. And that's exactly where Mitchell Trubisky is. He will make a lot of money being that guy that I'm not going to win you a game, but I'm not going to lose you a game either. I'm going to throw for 250 yards, two maybe 3 scores, and hopefully the defense can do what they need to do, because I'm not going to do a game-winning drive. That's just the quarterback that I am. I am safe and conservative, and if you don't like it, sorry, but that's who I am. So that is definitely not an overreaction. They will not win a Super Bowl with him at the helm. So wild card weekend is over, Billy. We are now into the divisional games here, and we're going to stick with the over/under reactions just because it's a lot of fun at the end of the day, I think. So
yeah, I like over/under reaction.
Over/under reaction. The Colts defense can do what they did to the Houston Texans, to the Kansas City Chiefs. Over/under reaction.
I think that's an overreaction. I mean, what the Colts did to the Texans really wasn't that impressive. I thought Deshaun Watson was killing himself a lot. He was nose diving balls. Balls was going in the dirt. He wasn't accurate with the football. Patrick Mahomes is going to be accurate with the football.
Yeah, and
it's going to be coming. And this is why I think the Colts defense is going to get exposed. They play good team defense because they have a quarterback on the other side that can keep them on the field or keep them off the field because he can control the clock. With Kansas City, they're going to be scoring. They're going to be scoring in a hurry, and you're gonna have to guard Tyreek Hill. You're not going to be able to take him out of the game like you did at DeAndre Hopkins. And if you do, guess who's going to get loose? You got Travis Kelce that can still get loose. You got Sammy Watkins that can still get loose. And let's not forget, Kelvin Benjamin plays for the Chiefs now, and he's not the number 1 option. He's like the 4th option. He can be big. You give Travis Kelce a 6'5" receiver. I mean, not Travis Kelce. You give Patrick Mahomes a 6'5" receiver, especially down in the goal line when you still have to cover Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Sammy Watkins. It could be a long night for that Colts defense. So, yeah, I think it's definitely overreaction. They can, but I don't think they will.
I hear everything you are saying, and just to add to that Kelvin Benjamin point, he came on to the Chiefs mid-season. He did not have a week to prepare. They've been kind of implementing in the offense here or there with a full week off. Look for Benjamin to have a big game. So if you guys are in the FanDuel, just like I am, that would be a good cheap pick. But
I'm telling you.
that Colts defense, just like we said about the Cowboys here, their front 7 is a dominant, and the Texans, they try to run the ball and they were unsuccessful about it. So that's why their defense looked so good, was because they knew that the Houston had to throw the ball to win the game. And since Hunt is no longer on the Chiefs either, I think the Colts defense know that the Chiefs have to pass, but you have to realize they have a 3-headed monster back there that can break a play any time. They have I can't even think of their names. West,
Sean Ware.
Yeah, they have Ware, West.
You have some capable guys. Yeah, you have some capable guys in the backfield that can do it by committee.
And you have that pounder, you have that slasher, and you have that back that just gets you the yards that you need to get. So definitely overreaction. The Colts defense is not going to shut down the Kansas City offense. They might hold them a couple series, but that's about it. But the Colts are still a very dangerous team, guys. Watch out for the Colts. moving on, Billy. The Dallas Cowboys, can their defense dominate on the road versus the LA Rams? Over, under reaction?
I'm gonna go underreaction, or I'm gonna go overreaction. I don't think they will. Let me preface this by saying I think the Rams is going to do exactly what the Seahawks did. They're just going to be able to do it better because Todd Gurley is better.
Yep.
You know, this is not going to be Carson. This is not going to be Penny. This is going to be a heavy dose of Todd Gurley, who's had a lot of time to rest and who's going to be well energized. Down the stretch of the season, Sean McVay kind of got away from Todd Gurley. He kind of stopped giving the ball, and maybe it was because of that same injury that he sat out with. I don't know. But Sean McVay stopped giving Todd Gurley the ball, which probably lost him the MVP. Let me tell you what's going to happen in the playoffs. You're going to get a heavy dose of number 30, which is in turn is going to help Jared Goff, because it seemed like he wanted to feature Jared Goff a little bit more, and Jared Goff was making a lot of mistakes. He threw a lot of interceptions coming down the stretch. Todd Gurley, look for Todd Gurley to neutralize that front seven, that defense. Play action pass is going to be on heavy display come Sunday or Saturday. What day did they play? Sunday, correct?
I believe they played on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. Look for a heavy dose of number 30 to help Jared Goff out, and I think the Cowboys defense is going to go back to being normal, and now you're going to have to force Dak to put the ball in the air, which is not his strong suit.
So, like I said, I am a stats guy. I am a percentage guy. That kind.
And they play on Saturday.
Okay, so the Cowboys defense is a very dominant defense when they're at home. They are 8-1 at home this season. They allow a little over 70 yards on the ground, and they sack the quarterback almost 10% of the time. When they are on the road, the Cowboys are only 3-5 on the road this season. They have given up, I believe, 5 100-yard yards, 100-yard games on the ground when they are on the road, and they only sack the quarterback 4% of the plays. So, with all that being said, the Cowboys won't be a dominant defense on the road because they aren't on the road. And because their offense sucks on the road too. So when your offense isn't scoring points, the defense butthole gets a little bit perkier. The other offense gets to play a little bit looser because they know they can take shots down the field. You know, a big 7 points here. You know, a big 50-yard gain here. Puts pressure on the defense, and that's why they won't be good on the road. So unfortunately, Cowboy fans, you're going to have to rely on Dak, Amari, because Zeke is going to be taken out of the game because we have to score points a lot. Sorry. So, final over-under reaction of the day, Billy. Do you think... Let me see. Let's see how I can word this here. Do the Chargers need a home game to make it to the playoffs or make it to the Super Bowl? Over, under,
I don't think so. No, I think that's an overreaction. You know, the Chargers have shown all year long during the regular season they were 7-1 on the road, and they beat some pretty good teams. They beat the Steelers on the road. They beat the Chiefs on the road, and then they just went to Baltimore last week and beat Baltimore on the road at home. So no, this Charger team basically live on the road. They beat the Broncos down the stretch on the road. I just think, man, because this team don't even have a home. You look at some of those games in that L.A. StubHub Stadium, wherever they play at, you normally see more fans of the other teams than you do Charger fans. So, no, I mean, they've done it all year. They're just going to continue to keep doing what they do, and I think they're going to be going to the Foxborough on Sunday and coming out with another W, but that's a topic for a later date. But no, 7-1 during the regular season on the road, increased that to 8-1 last week with that win at Baltimore. I mean, why not?
Yeah, everything you just said there. I mean, like I saw some crazy stat on ESPN, I believe it was Monday or Tuesday. They have the most miles logged of any team this season. Like they've traveled from East Coast to West Coast. They traveled overseas, so they are road dogs. I think they would rather prefer to play on the road because they are underdogs. Like at that point,
no pressure.
Yeah,
it's no pressure.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely not it's a underreaction. They're going to be perfectly fine on the road. They probably play better on the like on the road. To be honest, I haven't looked at the stats, but I'm sure they play better on the road. So, Billy, that's the show for today. That'll be it for over under reaction. Tomorrow we are going to pick the playoff games. I got some great insights for you guys. Even a haunted Arrowhead Stadium that could possibly curse the Kansas City Chiefs. Who knows? Tune in tomorrow and find out. Billy, any closing thoughts?
No, just thank you guys for continuing to support the podcast. Leave us a rating. You know, you may not like the show. Share with a friend. Get the word out there. RTS Sports Talk.
And if you aren't enjoying the show, in the ranking that you gave us, let us know what you don't like about it so we can improve the show for you guys. So maybe one day you'll come back and be like, oh, they made a change just for me. Well, that's what the rankings are for, guys. But with all that being said, this is RTF Sports Talk, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. We out.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And now you've got yourself something funky.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.